When Asus launched the ZenFone 3, it didn't stop at just that. It also gave us the ZenFone 3 Ultra, the ZenFone 3 Deluxe, and the ZenFone 3 Laser. This particular device has been aimed towards those who desire fast focusing in order to capture that perfect moment. And for this, it carries on its back a laser autofocus system, a 13 megapixel rear camera, and a dual LED flash. I'm Sohil Nikam, you're watching the TechShout channel on YouTube, and this is a review of the Asus ZenFone 3 Laser. Not surprisingly, the design blueprint of this phone is very similar to that of the original ZenFone 3. On the back, a protruding camera is surrounded by a dual LED flash and the much touted second-gen laser autofocus sensor. But the body of the laser has been made of metal instead of glass, and right below the camera is a fingerprint scanner. To the left is a dual SIM tray, and at the front you get a 5.5-inch display covered with 2.5D Gorilla Glass. The capacitive keys don't light up, but they are pretty easy to be distinguished. On the right, you'll find the volume and power buttons, which are both a bit wobbly for both the devices. At the top of the ZenFone 3 Laser is a headphone jack and a mic, while at the bottom is another mic, a speaker, and a micro USB port, unlike the Type-C port of the original ZenFone 3. And despite having a 5.5-inch display, it has quite a small footprint. This is also why Asus is claiming it to be one of the smallest handsets with a 5.5-inch display. I will not say that the ZenFone 3 Laser is a very comfortable device to hold. The area where its rounded edges meet the front surface is a bit sharp and could have helped with some chamfering. Now if you're using the device for very short intervals, this shouldn't be a problem. But if you're using the device for a long period, your palm will start feeling slightly uneasy. The 5.5-inch 1080p display on the ZenFone 3 Laser is extremely sharp. It's got a peak brightness of 500 nits, which makes it a great companion for those who are outdoors a lot. This phone comes with the Asus Splendid app and also kicks in a blue light filter toggle for reducing eye fatigue. Another aspect that impressed me about the ZenFone 3 Laser is its sound. Yes, this phone has a single speaker at its bottom, but it's substantially loud. Asus has blessed it with what it calls a smart amplifier, which gives you high volume without distorting the sound, while also ensuring that the speaker doesn't get damaged over the long term. The outdoor mode from other Asus devices is present here as well to give you higher volumes when there's too much noise around. Now this is one more area where nothing changes over the original ZenFone 3. Sure, you'd have to appreciate Asus for reducing the number of bloatware apps from its devices, but you'll find many apps that you'd eventually want to uninstall. Apps like ZenFlash Camera, Truecaller, Amazon, TripAdvisor and Instagram come pre-installed. But while these can be uninstalled at least, the same isn't true for apps like Photo Collage, Mini Movie, ShareLink and others which can only be disabled. And some apps also get very intrusive, like the security app which always has a notification sitting in the notification shade. The good thing about Zen UI, which is of course sitting above Android Marshmallow, is that its interface is very customizable. Plus there are useful little additions like the Zen Motion touch commands and gesture commands like flipping the device over for pausing a song. And then there's Game Genie, which lets you capture videos and broadcast live gameplay on Twitch and YouTube. Look, Zen UI has a great interface and some very interesting features, but Asus really needs to do something about the bloatware. So let's start with the ZenFone 3 Laser's namesake, its second generation laser autofocus technology. Is it fast? You're damn right it is. What it claims, it does. You can achieve incredibly quick point and shoot results with this camera. But a question I'm still searching the answer for is what is the need to have a separate laser branded device when all the other ZenFone 3 models practically have the same laser autofocus sensor on their backs. Anyway, the sensor is the same as the one on the Xiaomi Mi 4, which unsurprisingly results in good picture quality. The images came out sharp, but they weren't as detailed as I had expected them to be. The color accuracy was on point however. The story was the same for low light shots, but I have to admit, this camera did a pretty good job at keeping the noise levels down. Do note that by default the camera app clicks 10 megapixel shots and you need to go into the settings menu in order to set it to 13 megapixel. I've seen this on other Asus devices as well and I still can't find the answer to why a company would want you to click lower resolution photos than what its camera is capable of. Moving on, the laser captures 1080p videos at 30 fps. These clips are of admirable quality when outdoors and in good lighting conditions. But there's something weird happening in low light clips and even those that are shot indoors. A sort of a flicker effect will appear on your videos, spoiling their overall look. I really did not expect this from a phone which prides itself on its camera offerings. Amongst all this, the 8 megapixel front camera of the ZenFone 3 laser turns out to be its saving grace. This shooter clicks decent selfies in all lighting conditions. An octa-core Snapdragon 430 processor and a good 4GB of RAM have been pushed inside this device. And as one would expect, this translates into great overall performance. Multitasking was never an issue and the same goes for app load times. Plus the interface was very slick. Gamers will be pleased to know that the laser handles heavy games without any hiccups. They run smoothly and load with average times. The fingerprint scanner on this phone is pretty fast and it can be used for stuff like answering calls and clicking pictures. But Asus still hasn't integrated the ability to unlock apps with your fingerprint for some reason. The ZenFone 3 laser kicks in a 3000 mAh battery, which we're afraid is one of its weak points. This power unit consumes more than it preserves and leaves you searching for a charger by the evening. With my usage toned down a little, I could go from morning to night on a complete charge, but with barely any juice left in it by the end. I won't call the battery of the ZenFone 3 laser bad, but it's somewhere on the okayish level. What's really bad is its incredibly slow charging time. Goes without saying then that it does not support fast charging. The ZenFone 3 laser is a camera focused mid-ranger and ironically its camera itself turns out to be its weakness. Its lower than average battery life is another one of its major shortcomings. So the smartphone is giving you a good display, great speakers and admirable performance in exchange of rupees 19,000. That is sad. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars.